the Sunday Funday show. My name's Parker. Elise is supposed to be here, but she's late. But I really cannot wait to start because I just wanted to tell you guys this really awesome story. And whenever Elise gets here, then she can hear the rest of the story. But I just went to the beach this past weekend, and the beach is my favorite place in the whole wide world. And I got to enjoy it. Hey.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah. Hey, it's okay. I'm just telling a fantastic story about my weekend. I'm really excited about it.
Great.
But we just went to the beach with all my friends and family, and we were able to have a sandcastle. We were able to have a sandcastle building competition. We made it a really big sandcastle, and one story was not enough. So we built 4 stories. And then they kept climbing, 1, 2, 3, 4, until we got to the very top and made a giant steeple. It was this top.
Sorry.
It was this big, huge, really wide tower.
You're blocking my shot. Quit it.
Anyway,
That didn't work.
and after we got to the top, and then we got to build this big moat around it and put all the water, and then build a bridge. Build a big bridge across
so
it,
close. Did you
and
see
then we had to keep going back and forth in the water. Elise, what are you doing?
I'm practicing.
I'm trying to tell my story. I'm really excited about it. And
Yeah,
all
you're
doing is
building
throwing stuff.
a sandcastle. Yeah, we've all built sandcastles at the beach. I'm practicing for the trick shot competition at school. Like in 2 weeks, I gotta get this right. I saw a cool video on YouTube that you throw the ball against the wall, and it lands in the cup after bouncing, and you don't look. It's a no-look shot.
Do you have to do that right now? I'm really excited about telling this
Practice.
story to everyone.
This is hard.
But I mean,
Did you see
I
how
don't think
close?
you need that much practice for it.
Okay, fine. Here.
You know, it's not that hard
Knock
that
yourself
you
out.
have to practice while I'm telling my story.
Try it.
And
Go
I
for
can
it.
probably do it pretty easily
Wow,
in a
yeah.
couple of tries, just like this or this.
Beautiful. It's
mean-
story time.
What's up, guys? Good morning. Jonathan here. Super excited to be with you today. I have a question though for you this morning before we get started. Have you ever practiced for a really long time for something? Like you just practice and you practice for a really, feels like forever, and it feels like the game or the recital or whatever it may be is just never gonna get here. You see, when I was in high school, I played football, and we always started practicing for the fall season in the spring. I mean, just about this time every year, we would have spring practice, and then we'd have a spring game, and then we'd have summer workouts, and it just felt like the first game that was in September was taking forever to get here. I mean, we practiced all the time, it felt like, and it was hot, and it was miserable, and I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that there were days where I was like, oh, I'm just gonna quit this. But I always remember that first game in the fall, always thinking that now that we're here, this has been worth it. All of this practice, all of this time, all of this energy has been worth it. I think in our lives, we practice for a lot of things, and we prepare and we plan, and sometimes we practice and we plan and things get canceled. I would even imagine this last year, there was probably a lot of things that got canceled for you because of COVID. I mean, you would practice for an entire baseball season, and then that baseball season got canceled, or you practiced for a play, and then that play got canceled. Whatever it may be, we practice and we practice and we practice, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. But here's my question this morning. Do you think that there's a way that we can kind of practice this whole Jesus thing? I mean, do you think there's a way that we can practice like what it means to follow Jesus, or what it means to have faith? Is that something that you can practice? Well, the Apostle Paul, who was arguably one of the most famous Bible writers of all time, he was writing to this church in this town called Corinth. And in this letter, this is what he writes. This is in 1 Corinthians chapter 9. He says, "Don't you know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air." I mean, could you imagine like a boxer just fighting the air all the time? And he says, "No, I strike a blow to my body and I make it a slave so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize." And what Paul is talking about is that we can practice, we can go into kind of strict training to become better Jesus followers. I know that sounds super kind of strange to think about, but when Paul is writing this letter, maybe you didn't realize this, but the Olympics were like a really, really big deal. And they would do the discus, and they would do track and field, and they would do javelin, and they would run the races. And Paul's kind of comparing our life as a Christian to life as an Olympic athlete. That those guys go into training, that they don't just kind of do what they feel like doing. They don't just kind of go out and train when they want to. No, these guys have strict training plans. And Paul is saying that if we're going to follow Jesus, we kind of have to do the same. I mean, think about it like this. I've done a couple of marathons in my life. Marathon is a really long race, and I don't know why I did it. Maybe it was just to see if I could do it. And when I started training for my marathon, do you think that I would just go out there and run when I felt like it, or only run a certain amount of time, or just run until I got tired? No. I knew if I was going to be able to run my marathon, I had to train, and I had to specifically train, and I had to run, and I had to increase the distance that I ran, and I also had to rest. I had to stop and take a break, and I had to eat right. All of these things mattered to help me get to be able to run my race. And the same is true for us when it comes to following Jesus, that there's a way that we can practice, we can flex our muscles, and we can get better at kind of being a Jesus follower. Now this matters because we want to become more like Jesus. The whole entire goal in our life is to be more and more like Jesus. And there are ways that we can practice that. So over the next couple of weeks, as we kind of finish out the month of May, we're going to talk about what it looks like to hear from Jesus, and what it looks like to pray to Jesus, and what it looks like to talk about Jesus, and then ultimately what it looks like for us to live out our lives as Jesus would live them out. So I'm super excited for us, and I'm super excited over the next couple of weeks as we figure out what it looks like for us to live like Jesus. Well, I'm going to pray for us, and I'll see you guys next week. God, we thank you for today, and we thank you for this opportunity to be together. God, I pray that you'd help us to have a desire to want to learn how to practice to be a Jesus follower. God, I pray that you'd give us a desire to learn, to want to learn how to do the things that we talked about, God, to hear from you, and to pray to you, and to talk about you, and to live like you. And God, we love you, and we need you, and it's in the strong name of Jesus that we pray. Amen. All right, I'll see you guys next week.
Wow, that was a great story.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked how Paul was saying that not only do we have to practice, but we have to keep practicing and stay disciplined and practice every single day so that we can be the very best.
I mean, that's true, because if you're not doing it, then you're not going to get any better. You have to keep practicing and put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe we need to practice this up until your competition every single day.
I mean, one of these has got to get in there eventually, but actually that kind of makes me think of a question.
Yeah.
How does practicing help you?
Yeah, I mean, just like we were talking about in the story, when you run the race, you continue to practice all the way up into the race, and you could win.
Yeah, you could get faster every single day. And I guess if we keep practicing, I'm sure we can win that competition in a couple weeks with this ping pong ball trick. So
yeah, I mean, we'll make one eventually if we keep practicing.
That's got to be it.
Let's
That's
do it.
statistics, man. I mean, so we'll see you next time on the Funday show, and let's keep practicing.
All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go.